Please tell me that it's working this time. I hope someone is gonna be able to reconnect. So in case you are watching this in replay, I did first of all 1 minute of live stream, and then it stopped, and I think nobody watched it because the app was failing. So I changed the app for my live stream, and then I was streaming for 10 minutes and interacting with the people, and then the screen just froze. I really don't know what to think at this point. Hello again, Jason. Oh my God. Oh, hello, Auke. Hello, Panos, Ramses. Oh my God. Hello, Mel. I'm glad you are back, guys. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know what to do, really. I feel every time technology fails on me, I feel so hopeless, and I really don't know what to do because I don't understand whatever. Anyway, I was in the middle of hopefully the other live stream, 10-minute live stream, is still saved on YouTube. So if you're watching the replay, you can continue on this one. I was answering Jorge's question about my dreams, and I was about to tell what I dreamt last night, because a couple of hours ago I woke up this morning and I was dreaming an extremely vivid dream. I was living in Rome for some reason, which I lived a few years ago. I think I was dreaming about living in Rome because last night or the night before I watched a vlog about Rome, about a park that was close to where I lived. And it's from a fellow Italian YouTuber who is traveling all over Italy by bicycle. If you're interested, by the way, he's called Pietro Franzese. Okay, let me see if I can... No, I don't know how to write comments on the chat. I don't want to, to do other mistakes. So Pietro Franzese, if you want. It's a channel in Italian, unfortunately, but the images are beautiful. And he just made a vlog about Parco degli Acquedotti in Rome, which is a park close to where I used to live. It's a gorgeous park. So I think that's why I dreamt last night that I was living in Rome, and I went out for groceries in my dream to Chinatown, which was Chinatown in New York, though. So it was very weird, and I needed the wakame seaweed, which is real because I've been meaning to buy some new wakame seaweed here since a couple of weeks, because I'm about to finish it and I eat it, on a weekly basis, so I really need it. So that was my dream. Yes. Okay, let's see who is in the chat right now. Let's see if you're back. Okay, there are some people. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for reconnecting in this new live stream. I'm very sorry that the other one went bad. I don't know what happened. Let's see now, and I go on with the questions that you guys asked me yesterday on my social media platforms. So QWERTY is another one of my patrons, and on Patreon he asked me sort of a philosophical question. QWERTY is German. You can understand by the question. What does it mean for you to be proud? Or if someone is proud of you, does it matter who is proud of you? Where do you draw the line? How do you define being proud? And he adds in the end, Germans are crazy about solutions. Probably that's why we look for problems everywhere. That's a great interpretation of the German personality. That's totally true about Germans in my little experience of Germans. Going back to the question, what does it mean for you to be proud? That's a very again, a philosophical question I cannot answer right here, right now. I honestly also wonder very often what it means to be proud, because sometimes I see these YouTube videos where I don't know, people ask other people, are you proud of this? Are you proud of that? The other day, I don't know if Mia and QWERTY are watching the same channel on YouTube, but I was watching a video where the interviewers were going, they are German, and it was located in Germany, and the interviewers were going to people on the street of Berlin, and they were asking, are you proud to be German? And it was a bit problematic for me, because I kept thinking, what does it really mean to be proud? Because obviously many people were answering, no, I'm not proud to be German because it's not something that I can be proud. How can you be proud of something that you didn't choose, that you didn't work for? I was born in Germany by chance. I could have been born in a totally other country. So no, how can I be proud of that? Shields, in the meantime, says, my answer is self-respect and dignity. That's an easy question. I don't know if it's that simple. To be proud. But see, that's the meaning of being proud of yourself, right? Self-respect and dignity. Being proud of someone else means to respect someone and have esteem for this person. Probably, yeah. So the other question was, if someone is proud of you, does it matter who is proud of you? I don't think it matters on a rational level. I think on an emotional level it matters. So if my parents are proud of me, it counts for me way more than if a person that I don't know that well is proud of me. You know what I mean? But it's not because I think my parents are better people or they're more intelligent or anything. It's just because I have an emotional connection that is stronger with them, obviously. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see what you are saying in the chat. Hello from Georgia, not the state. Zura Zura, I'm glad you wrote it. There are not many people that attend these live streams from Georgia, and especially not from Georgia that is not in the United States. I mean, Georgia, the country, so hello there. Steve asks, how many languages do you speak? I speak 3, I can understand 4. What is your favorite German city? It's probably Berlin. Is it? Favorite in what sense? Well, I guess I answered in a very instinctual way, so that's it. Let's see other questions that you asked me. Joe asked me, do you get homesick? Yes, and that is a very new question for me, because I must say, since I was a kid, I have never gotten homesick. Like in my adult life, honestly, in all my travels, even when I was living abroad for an entire year, I never really got homesick. Never. Yeah, this moment, this year, because I was forced to be here because of the pandemic. Otherwise, I would have been home already a couple of times to visit my family. I feel very homesick, very, very homesick. And that is very weird for me. I'm not used to that. Let's see, you're asking me, You're asking me a few questions from the live chat, so I'm gonna switch to that. Aukeha asks, take 7, hello. Auke asks, how did your quarantine go? You mean my quarantine in the past couple of weeks, I guess, not the first quarantine in March, April. So I was, if you haven't followed, I got in contact with a person who tested positive for COVID. It was 3 weeks ago. So after a few days, I started my quarantine. I went to get tested, and I did the rapid test, which gives you the result in only 30 minutes. But then I also researched about it, and I discovered that it gives you only a 70% of reliability about the result. So in the end, I decided to quarantine for 2 weeks because, I work from home anyway. So for me, it's not really necessary to go out. So I was just living my life at home for 2 weeks. It's, for me, honestly, I'm lucky because I can adapt to situation very easily. Maybe I was training very much during my digital nomad lifestyle, so for me, it was not a problem. I just stayed home. I enjoyed the things that I can do at home and that, I usually don't do because I go out all the time. I was taking care of the apartment and stuff like that. Hello, Danny from Lombok, Indonesia. Wow, what time is it there? I bet it's late evening now. Oh, time for a kiss. Can you finish answering my question from last time because it cut out? Right, on my last live stream, I was answering to time for a kiss question and my battery died. So the question was cut in half. Which country do Americans physically look most alike? Germany. It's obviously a very difficult question to answer because the United States is such a diverse country, and the people who live here have very diverse origins. You say that? So this is gonna be a very subjective answer. I come from Italy. I'm used to see as normal people who have my traits, dark hair and white skin and stuff like that. In the United States, I see a lot more people of color, especially Afro-American people, I would say. In Italy, we have quite a few people who immigrated from Africa, either first generation or second generation, or maybe they are just adult people who just immigrated, but they are really the minority. There are not as many as there are here. The American population is made of a good percentage of Afro-American people. So that's one thing. And then here in New York City, there are a lot of Hispanic people that you can recognize by their facial traits. Asian people, I must say that even in Italy, in big cities, there are a lot of them around the streets that you can see. And then one thing that I see, one type of people that I see here that I don't see in Italy is the German-looking people, German, Scandinavian, Dutch-looking people. So, for example, many women have blonde hair here, like naturally very blonde, very pale complexion, or men also blonde, pale, with a very square jaw. That is a type of white people that I see mostly in Germany, in my experience. In Italy, they are either tourists or, they don't live there for sure. So that's it. Let me go back. There were so many questions. Vic Lau asks, what is your favorite Italian eatery in New York City? Good question. Probably right now, I'm just pausing because it was a few weeks ago, I was eating in an Italian place that I recently discovered, and I thought, oh, this is so good. It's my new favorite Italian place in New York City, and I should share it with my audience. And now I don't remember where I was, honestly. But I can tell you what's my favorite Italian eatery in this neighborhood, which is the East Village. And I went there to have dinner 2 times this summer, and I absolutely loved it. It's a Tuscan restaurant. It's called La Fiaschetteria, which is a name that Americans really struggle to pronounce. So it's La Fiaschetteria. It's, as I said, a Tuscan trattoria. They are amazing. They like it. It actually feels like eating in an Italian restaurant in Italy. Blah, blah, blah. Paolo Sarti. Hi, Mary Jane. Hi, Paolo. I think you're Italian because of the question. What philosophers did you like when you studied philosophy? Only an Italian could ask that, or a German. Like or dislike, it's not a thing for me, especially with philosophers. I can tell you what philosopher I studied the most, and it was first of all Martin Heidegger. That was the very first philosopher that I studied deeply, and I wrote my bachelor thesis on him. And then I guess during my master, I focused more on the postmodernism. And is that how you call it in English? I don't know. I hope you understand what I mean. And I studied quite a bit of Jean Baudrillard. So, German philosopher, French philosopher. Gnonio, snowing outside? No, as you can see, it's sunny today and it's very warm actually. So warm that I thought I should go out for this live stream because I think it's gonna be 15 degrees Celsius of maximum temperature today, which is crazy. But actually for this month, I renewed my plan for the phone and I didn't actually do the plan that gives me a lot of gigabytes, a lot of data. I only have 2 gigabytes for this month because I save loads of money like that. And since I figured, okay, I'm gonna be always at home, I don't really need many gigabytes, but for the live streams I do. So now I have to stick at home basically for this month at least. If you want me to do live stream from outside, you're gonna have to send me a donation because here it's extremely expensive to pay for the phone plan. I'm talking about this month I paid $12 for 2 gigabytes and I cannot call, I cannot receive calls, I cannot receive text messages. I just have 2 gigabytes on my phone. And it was $12, which is more than what I would pay in Italy for a full inclusive plan. If I want a plan that gives me 10 gigabytes plus the possibility to call here, I pay between $55 and $65. Yes. To all the Europeans listening, yes. Okay, I am going back to your questions. Probably I should just skip because I'm getting too many questions now. Garax, hello from Melbourne. Wow. What is the situation for COVID in New York? Here we have basically got rid of it and things have almost gone back to normal. However, I hear the USA sounds like it's gone out of control. Well, USA has never been in control of the virus, not even very far away in control of the virus. So the situation is just continuing like that. And I must say the authorities are not really doing anything about it. At least this is my sensation, honestly. I feel like I should, personally, I feel like I would like to have some pressure from the authorities to behave more carefully about the virus. But yeah, they're not doing anything. I heard my husband told me yesterday that from next week they are gonna close the indoor dining again completely. So since September, it was possible to eat indoor in the restaurants at the 25% of capacity, which I thought it was. I ate indoors several times. I thought it was a very good solution, but apparently I honestly don't know what's gonna be the future for the restaurants here, because it gets very cold in New York in the winter, and I don't know how many people are gonna willing to eat outdoors. You know? I don't know. Danny. Danny asks, does COVID-19 really exist? Because I just watched it on the news and its impact has really killed all sectors. What do you think? I don't really understand all of your question, but if COVID-19 really exists, I think even conspirational theorists cannot deny that COVID-19 exists. Yes, Danny, unfortunately it exists. Wait. I got a super chat. Time for a kiss. Thank you for the super chat. React to Conan and Jordan Schlansky trip to Italy. Who are these people? Time for a kiss. I'm afraid I cannot answer your question. I have no idea who they are. They are other YouTubers, maybe? Maybe you can send me an email and, with the link of the videos, and on the next live stream, you can ask me again and I'm gonna be able to answer you. DN, are you a member of a church? Do you regularly attend a place of worship? No, I was baptized, so I don't know if I can define myself a member of the Catholic Church, but I don't believe in God, and I don't go to church or any worship place. Time for a kiss. Okay. Jordan Schlansky is a person obsessed with Italy, and it would be great if you did a reaction video about his trip to Italy. It will be a huge video for you. Well, I could think about it. Yeah. Let me watch this video first, and if I find it interesting enough, yeah, sure. Thanks for the suggestion. Jerry Mustache. Hey, Mary Jane, thanks for the conversation in the comments the other day. Jerry, well, I'm surprised you are actually glad about it. It was very nice for me to. And by the way, sorry, we are in live stream with many other people. Jerry is talking about a conversation that we've had under one of his comments, and you can find it in my latest vlog, I think. In my latest vlog, it's titled "My Last Days in New Hampshire." If you go in the comments, you can read the message that Jerry left, the comment that Jerry left. It was about the hippies. He said, I can't stand hippies. And I gave him probably a very unusual answer, especially on YouTube, that triggered a whole conversation, which I think even for people who are not interested in the topic could be very interesting to read. So I'm glad we had the conversation, Jerry. Thank you for keep answering, because many people, I start this type of conversation under the comments that I have in my channel, but then very often people stop answering simply. And I was happy that you continued and you answered to my questions and so on. Kawan, hello from Brazil. Shady Mohammed, did you visit Egypt before? Yes, I've been to Egypt when I was 18 or 19, unfortunately, I went in a luxury resort. So I don't really count it as having visited Egypt. Okay, Jason asked me, what kind of movies do you like? I can tell you what kind of movies I don't like. I don't like action movies. I don't like movies with violence. I don't know why in these last years of my life I can't stand the view of violence. I used to watch Quentin Tarantino movies all the time when I was a teenager, and I loved them. And I've never been particularly impressed by it. But now, since I don't know, sometime in my mid-20s, something happened. Not that something happened, nothing happened, but I don't know, I cannot watch violence anymore. Or I don't like very dramatic movies. If they are old school drama movies where drama has a meaning in the story of a movie, then okay. Then, if it's a beautiful movie, good, well made and everything. But I feel that nowadays, especially with this Netflix kind of production that push the movie directors to put a lot of suspense right at the beginning of the movie, because they need the watcher to keep watching the movie to have the attention captured. I think it's just kind of destroying the whole movies, basically, because they put so much drama everywhere, people yelling all the time, people I don't know, with all this music that is very it puts you in a suspense, and for what reason? Not for a reason that is into the movie, just for a reason that they want you to stick to the movie when you watch, which is something that I really don't like. I'm very critical towards this new type of movies. Also, they are very sophisticated productions, with special effects and expensive machinery and everything. So the photography is amazing, but then the story doesn't really have any substance. Or maybe it does, but the way it develops, I don't know. I'm sorry, why am I talking about this? Okay, these are the type of movies that I don't like. Okay, actually I can answer you. I like very slow movies. That's one type of movie that I love. Like very calm, slow, with, fixed framings that last for one entire minute, just one scene, stuff like that. I'm a bit weird, I guess. The Red Cake, what's the main difference in your opinion between US and Italy? The main one? There are so many. I will go with food, probably. I think food... Look, this is also a thing that I learned about Italy when I actually went to live outside of Italy, but we are really obsessed about food. For me, it was just normal. I had no idea that was an obsession. But Italians are really... Again, it could be perceived as an obsession. For me, it's just the natural way to live, because food is the thing that keeps you alive. And it's, something that you do every day, at least 3 times per day. So to me, it's just normal and natural that you spend a lot of time and effort and money in it, But it could be seen as an obsession, I guess. And definitely the USA are the country that I visited that has the exact opposite approach to food. Here, food very often is considered as a necessity that is a problem to get rid of as quickly as possible. So food more as calories that keep you going. But the problem with this mentality, I think, is that you can do it for certain meals. You can just, eat on the go without thinking too much about it because you have to go on with your day. You have no time for food. But on the long term, if you do it too often, that could be very damaging because food, we cannot deny the fact that food is also a pleasure for our body. Like we can literally cannot deny that it's our nature. We feel pleasure when we eat food. So it's, in my opinion, it's better on the long term to actually take the time to prepare good quality food and enjoy it while you eat. So not eating in 10 minutes, but taking like a full hour to enjoy it and be in company, have a good conversation while you eat. Because that's something that your body requires anyways. So if you don't cultivate this approach with food on the long term, you will end up sitting in the evening when your work is finally done with a bag of cookies, eating them on the couch while relaxing in front of television, because your body needs that pleasure that comes from food. And instead of getting it from the bag of cookies that you consume all alone, while being distracted by something else, you could simply have one meal per day with having a conversation with someone that is enjoying the same food, and you can discuss about the food that you're eating, discuss about the way you prepared it, the combinations that you made. I don't know if I'm making my point. I hope so. I got 2 super chats, so let me see. Henry Chang, thank you very much. I'm glad to see you here. I hope your day is going well. You're having a beautiful Sunday. Elisa52, thank you very much. 17 euros, thank you. I hope also that your Sunday is going very well and that you're enjoying the snow. By the way, how is it the weather where you are? Especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, I'm curious to see how many people have snow. Because in these days, at least in Italy, it's been snowing a lot. Like a lot. Especially in Friuli, my region, where if you're not on the mountains, it doesn't snow very often. And if it does, it's just a few centimeters. In the last days, it's been snowing like crazy. I'm so jealous of the people that are there right now. Sorry, as always, I'm reading. But you can see, I like that you can see the reflection in this section of the television behind me, because you can see when I'm scrolling, at least. Because I know that sometimes I just stop talking and I just stare at the screen. Oh my God, Jitesh Solanki says, I have never seen snow in my life. Where are you from? Maybe some Southern Asian country? Maybe? But Jitesh, I hope that by chance, one day in your life, you're gonna be able to see it. Because it's such a beautiful natural phenomenon, in my opinion. Maybe you're not gonna like it, but still. Jerry Mustache, South Sweden, no snow yet. Samuele from Verona in Italy, not here. Verona is also very close to the Alps, so I'm surprised that there is no snow yet. Auke in Belgium, no snow in Belgium. Raining in California Central Coast, says ME. This is so beautiful that you guys are from all over the world. Mel says, I have snow. Mel, where are you from? Maybe Canada? Hi Dashrath from India, good morning. Good morning for me, but it's evening in India right now, right? Andres Villanueva Jr. asks, what TV shows I like to watch? Actually, I'm thinking about starting a new type of videos on my channel, starting in the 2021, 2020, how do you say, 2021, where I give my suggestion on a, let's say, monthly basis or once every 2 months, I don't know, my suggestions about things to watch. My idea was especially to give suggestions about YouTube channels, and in particular YouTube channels that are smaller than 100,000 subscribers. And yeah, because I want to support, now that I have a little bit of an audience, I want to support people who are growing their own channel, because I know how hard it is, especially at the beginning. And I would have loved if someone would have, given me a shout out when I had only, 5K, and help me have more visibility of my vlogs. So yeah, I would like to do that. And I was also thinking to give also some random suggestions, because in my free time, I read things, I watch things, I consume creative products, and some of them, I think they are really good, and I would like to share them with my audience. So I was thinking about that. And, some TV series included, why not? But because you asked me the question about TV series, what am I watching right now? Well, right now, I watch TV series, especially in the evening with my husband when he comes home, because he's very tired. He works long hours and he needs to relax, so we cannot watch something that is too heavy. So I am I am showing him The Big Bang Theory, which is a TV series that is from 9 years ago, probably 2011, I think it came out, and I already watched it, the whole series, and I find it hilarious. I love it. It's about 2/4, like a group of 4 friends that are PhD in physics or engineering at the University of California, I don't know, at university in California. And one of them is like a genius, one of those very weird and socially awkward people. And I actually know people like that, because from when I used to live in the academic environment, and especially PhD in physics, I had quite a few friends that randomly were PhD in physics, and these characters always reminds me of them. But I keep giving this suggestion for TV series worth watching: Midnight Diner. It's on Netflix, so I don't want to promote Netflix, but we have it here. I know many people have it in other countries as well. So if you're able to watch Midnight Diner, please do. It might be not your genre at all, but it's worth giving it a shot. It's located in Tokyo, in Japan, and it's short stories of 20 minutes that don't really have very often an ending. I like stories like that. Sometimes, especially with American cinema, I think movies very often are forced to have a beginning, a development, and then an ending, and the main character of the movie has to kind of develop into the movie and learn something, learn a life lesson or something like that, which is very good sometimes, but I find it a little bit too much, if it's done in every movie. And Midnight Diner is exactly the opposite. Very often, they only tell stories that often don't have an end, don't have a meaning, don't have a personal development of the main character of the story. Can you still see me, or should I pull down the curtain? Let me know. Because at this time of the day here, it's about 11 in the morning. this window is facing south, so I get all the beautiful sunlight from the outside at noon, but it can be distracting for you. So let me know. Joseph, can you tell me something in Italian? Sì, posso chiederti se devo tirare giù la tenda perché il sole può essere troppo forte adesso e può disturbare la ripresa del live stream. Quindi vi ho chiesto se volete che io abbassi la tenda adesso. Vediamo se qualcuno ha risposto. QWERTY says it looks great, but Ken says yes, pull down the shade. You know what? I'm gonna do a middle way. I'm just gonna pull it down just a little bit. Maybe like this. It's a bit shady right now. Mar, from which town in Italy I am? I am from a very small town close to Udine in the northeast of Italy. Nitin, the sunlight looks good. I know. Isn't it beautiful? Auke says the light looks artistic. I hope it looks artistic like this too. And it's gonna change in the next, 20 minutes. By the way, I feel so blessed to be able to live in an apartment like this because I've lived in very dark and cold apartments in my life, in my 20s. And this one is the exact opposite. There is this beautiful light. The whole central hours of the day, it's so surreal for me that I'm actually living here. Maybe that's why the quarantine for me is not so difficult also, because there is so much sunlight in this apartment and it's actually beautiful to spend the days here, even when it's sunny outside. G-Man! Wait, G-Man is in the Scottish Islands? What? That's crazy! Wow! Amazing! It is 7 degrees here, 44 Fahrenheit. Pretty drab weather here. No snow where I am, but the mountains around have a covering. Mel loves Midnight Diner. I'm glad you know the show, Mel. Jan from the Netherlands says, no white Christmas again in the Netherlands for the 10th year in a row. Sorry to hear. Unfortunately, it's a common problem everywhere, I think. It's just the global warming doesn't allow us to have a white Christmas. Also in Italy, it's been very bad. Even on the Alps, I must say, because my family has a holiday house in the Alps. So around Christmas, very often we go, but in the last years, there was never snow around Christmas. It comes later in February, which is very sad. Oh, wait, Federico D'Antoni. What? Federico D'Antoni. An old schoolmate of mine, hi, who moved to Australia. Last Monday, 39 degrees here in Perth. Perth? Is that how you pronounce it? Enjoy your snow. Cheers from Down Under. An old friend. Fede, ciao! Non so se ancora stai ascoltando, ma mi ha fatto piacere leggere il tuo commento. Grazie di essere passato. Ti mando un bacione. Judith, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Great to see you live. Hey, MJ. Judith is my neighborhood here in Manhattan. A real New Yorker. She's lived her entire life here in New York. So I'm always very glad to see her comments. El Trapeador, good morning from Sacramento. Hello there. John Smith, do you ever listen to Bob Dylan? No, I don't. I never really liked Bob Dylan. I'm not a big fan of folk music. In general, I'm a bit weird with this because I used to be, I don't know if I can consider myself like that anymore, but I used to be a huge passionate about music, all genres. I used to listen to tons of music, but almost never music with words or with words that actually have a meaning. Or if I used to listen to singed songs, I never listened to the meaning of the words. For me, music is about sound. It's not about words. That's poetry. I struggle to mix poetry with music. If I listen to music, I want to listen to the melody and to the rhythm and not to the meaning of the words. It just becomes too much for me if I also have to pay attention to the meaning. Um, E says your videos always have a tasteful music. I am glad you find it tasteful. Thank you very much, ME. And the reason why is because I have a huge knowledge in music. And I'm not bragging. It's not because I studied it or anything. It's just because I've listened to so much music and so many different kinds that I guess I have a trained ear. Ali Yassin, tell us a dream that you didn't achieve yet. Nice question. I like it. I have the answer right away. So I repeat, the question was, tell us a dream you haven't achieved yet. And quick question that I have in my mind right now is sawing. I don't know the right pronunciation. Making clothes. Not designing clothes, making clothes, with the sewing machine. I think it's sewing is the right pronunciation. So yeah, I always had this dream of learning how to actually make clothes, or at least make big alterations, And I never did it so far because I've never had a sewing machine. And it's a pity that I got this interest a little bit too late in my life, because my grandma, the mother of my father, was a tailor. Can you say that? She wasn't a tailor in terms of her profession was a tailor. She was a farmer, but she was one of those farmers that have to do everything in the house. She could do a little bit of everything. So she could also make clothes. Her sister was a tailor by profession, so she learned from her sister, and she could make big alterations. She could sew, in just a few words. And I never asked her to teach me when she still was able to sew. I discovered just later in my life that I wanted to get that skill. And now it's too late, but it's too late for my poor grandma to teach me, but it's not too late for me to learn it. So one day. G-Man from Scotland says it's pronounced sawing, not sewing, but sawing. Thank you. QWERTY says he too wants to learn to sewing, but he is still trying. It isn't too late. No, it's not. Andrea Avila asks, what are you having for Christmas? And before I answer to this question, I want you to tell me in the comments what are you doing for Christmas? I would like to know, first of all, who of you is going to be able, not to be able, has decided to meet their families. Because many people now are going to be able, for example, in Italy, up to last week, they wouldn't have been able to meet their families, but now legally they are. But most of the families, luckily, mine included, I hope, decided to not meet up because of COVID. So I would like to know also, you tell me in the comments, are you going to actually meet your families, or you just decided to spend Christmas separately? John W., I'm definitely meeting my family no matter what happens. Oh, I'm not sure I'm happy to hear this. So I used to be also like that for the entire summer. You know, I had this also problem with green card now that I cannot legally travel and come back to the United States. So I had also that problem. And I kept saying, no matter what happens, I have to be with my family for Christmas. I'm 30 years old and I never spent Christmas outside of Friuli and without my family. Never. And honestly, I would have never even imagined that I would have done it. But since the new wave of COVID, I mean, John, I don't know where you live. Honestly, you could be living in Australia where things are going very much fine, where it's summer now. So I don't know, but G-Man, I will be alone on Christmas Day. It has been this way since the last 17 years, since I split up with the mother of my kids. I'm sorry to hear. I mean, I don't know if you're fine with that or not. Yeah, as I said, for me, Christmas is always about family and company. So at least you're not gonna be having any problem for COVID this year, G-Man. Consider yourself lucky. Johannes, hi, I'm Jane. Hi, Johannes, one of my patrons. Nice to see you here. Where will you listen to the Wiener Philharmoniker on the New Year's Day? Great question. So Johannes is referring to the fact that every year I listen to, on the 1st January of every year, I listen to the Wiener Philharmoniker concert that goes on Euro stream, live stream. How do you say that? Like, it streams live in every country in Europe, and it's a concert from Vienna in English, the capital of Austria. And it's my tradition to every 1st of January sit and listen to this concert, which goes on for 3 hours. So we have lunch in the meantime with my family and stuff. And I made a vlog about it last year. That's how you guys know about it, because last year I decided to vlog that day. So you can find it. It's the beginning of a new decade, I think. That's the name of the vlog. It's a very cute vlog, so if you want, you can go and watch it. And this year, I was thinking about it last day, the fact that how am I going to watch the concert this year? I don't know. I have yet to gather information about where to be able to watch the concert here in the United States, because I don't have a VPN right now. So I don't know if I need a VPN to watch it. If anybody knows how to watch Eurovision programs in the United States through internet, please let me know, because I'm very bad at researching at these kind of things. Again, it's technology. I'm so bad at technology. So let me know. Let me scroll back. Time for Kiss says you can also go to Netflix and watch Conan Without Borders to see the trip to Italy. It will be worth it. This is he or she was referring. Time for Kiss, are you male or female, by the way? I always have this question in my mind. This comment was referring to a previous comment in this live stream. Barb Art is gonna stay at home and eat amazing Italian food. Good for you. Positive Neutron, are you vegan? No, I'm not vegan. John W, I'm meeting my family, but it's only in Brooklyn. Well, you are not in a country where COVID is quiet at the moment, so please be careful because, you know, in this fall wave of COVID, most of the cases have been spread through small family gatherings, especially with Thanksgiving. It's been very bad, so what can I say? Be careful. Barb Art, I live in Italy, but I'm Hungarian and I don't go home to visit my family because I think this is the best choice now. Barb Art, I agree with you. I respect your choice. I hope you're gonna have a joyful Christmas anyway in Italy eating Italian food. Then, hi MJ, you mentioned on a live stream you used to travel doing a sport when you were younger. I was interested to know what was your sport. Yes, my sport was rhythmic gymnastics. Kalkan Botgan, qual è il tuo piatto preferito per Natale? Well, this is Italian. He's asking me what's my favorite dish for Christmas. In the meantime, Ocean Planet is answering to my question about how to watch Eurovision programs in the US. And Ocean Planet is suggesting on Arte, which is an amazing TV channel, by the way, German, French, and I used to watch it all the time when I used to live in Italy. I love Arte. I don't know if I can catch Arte from here, though. Antonella Abruzzese suggests that Eurovision might have a YouTube channel. Interesting. Okay, I get a few questions about what is my favorite food for Christmas or what Italians eat for Christmas. That's a good question because I actually don't know very much. Because I always spend Christmas with my family, so I know what we eat for Christmas, but I don't know if it's the same. For example, I know that in the central South Italy, they have fish for Christmas, which is totally absurd for me. I'm from the north and I would never, like, fish is something for this, more for the summer in where I come from. We don't eat much fish in the winter, we eat more meat. And Christmas is definitely a meat-based kind of meal. So in my family, what do we eat in my family? Well, you know, we have the antipasti, which are the small things that you eat before actually sitting down for the meal. No, actually we consume them while sitting down already, but they are not the actual meal. And usually we just have them on trays on the table, you know, all together, and you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And they are always different, but they are usually something that you have prepared in the summer. So many pickled vegetables, for example, or vegetables preserved in oil. So, you know, at the end of the summer, towards September, you have all these extra vegetables from the garden. It's, you know, full harvest season and you have way too much vegetables, you're not able to consume them all by just eating them fresh. So in August, September, it's a moment of preserving vegetables for the winter. And Christmas Day, antipasti, the first part of the meal, is always with a little bit of these vegetables that you open from the jar. And then we have the cured meats. Especially in Friuli, where I come from, we have beautiful salami. They are usually homemade, or anyway, you buy them at a local shop, you know, in your little town, and they are artisanally made. And they have this amazing flavor, which I will never be able to experience here in the United States, because not many people know that cured meats from Italy here are not the same that you would eat in Italy, because of certain sanitation rules that the United States have. So if you get any prosciutto here, for example, don't expect to get the same prosciutto that we in Italy eat, because Italian producers have to have a separate section in the factory where they make the prosciutto or the cured meat for the US export. It's not the same. So yeah, I'm gonna miss those salami, and I call them salami, but in reality they are, you know, soppressa, salame, il culatello, e la coppa, all so many different ones, pancetta. Yeah, I only talked about the antipasti so far, so you can imagine that the list goes on and on. Primi could be crespelle or lasagne, usually with other mushrooms, or leeks, sausage, radicchio. Could be many different things. Or risotto as well. Very often we have two primi, which is the half of the meal that regards pasta or rice, basically. And then secondi comes, which is the second half of the meal that is more about the meat. So we have usually 2 or 3 different kinds of meats. One is pork roast, and the other one is maybe, you know, in the last few years, my mom usually gets gifted a huge chicken every Christmas by some of her patients. And so she prepares that. And then maybe we have some musetto, I don't know, which is sort of a sausage that you boil. It's very Friulan, very northeast of Italy. And then we have all the vegetables and the side dishes, which are dishes based on vegetables, cooked vegetables, I mean. Or we have salad as well, which is not cooked, whatever. That's it, because I cannot answer to this question in this video. Sorry. Fontigo, ciao, pane soppressa, ne mangerò un pezzo per te. Lisa, da San Boldo Treviso, ti prego, mangia un po' di soppressa anche per me. Soppressa, tra l'altro, è la mia preferita, l'adoro. Meglio del salame per me. I'm actually getting my eyes watery now because thinking about soppressa. That's how Italians are obsessed about food, you know? I'm actually almost tearing up. Just Kate, good question. What is your favorite Christmas movie? Very good question, because I've been thinking about this aspect of Christmas for the past couple of weeks. And I was thinking that it's so common in other countries, especially, you know, the countries that are on YouTube in general, because I'm watching other YouTubers and they all have these Christmas movies that they watch, or their favorite Christmas movies. And I must admit that I don't watch Christmas movies. They are not part of my Christmas traditions. And I don't know if other Italians do. Do you? It's not that we don't have Christmas movies, but if I have to think of one, doesn't come out anything from my mind, honestly. So they are probably not so important in our Christmas traditions. They're really not a Christmas tradition. I don't know if it's an Italian thing or it's just in my family. Oh, Carlos Peanuts, who is obviously Italian, suggests I cinepanettoni. Right, that's why in my family we don't have Christmas movies. So in Italy there is a very specific phenomenon about Christmas movies, which are the cinepanettoni. A made up word. And they are movies made by this couple of movie director, Boldi and De Sica, I think they are called. I'm not really the right person to talk about this because I obviously never watched them. I don't like the genre. They are comedy movies. They're supposed to be funny, but for me, they're really not. They're just very trashy. So many people in Italy like to go to the movie theater and watch this. Or maybe at home, they rewatch the ones that were released in the past years, I guess. Antonella Abruzzese, come on, there is Home Alone. Antonella Abruzzese, I think you are Italian. Yes, there is Home Alone, which in Italian has another title, obviously, because as you might know, in Italy not only we dub all the movies, but we translate the title of the movies, the American movies. Mamma ho perso l'aereo. So the name of the movie Home Alone in Italian is Mamma ho perso l'aereo, which means Mom, I missed my flight. I don't know why they changed the titles in Italian movies. Home Alone. So I have a plan for this December to watch a couple of Christmas movies. Maybe it could be a new Christmas tradition, since this year I cannot have my usual tradition of spending Christmas with my family. So Home Alone is one of those movies that I wanted to watch. I remember watching it once when I was a kid and I hated it because I just remember that there is this kid as the protagonist of the movie who he was left home alone, and he does he's so happy because he can do all these things that are forbidden usually by his parents, I think. And I really, really hated that. And it was very, it had a lot of suspense for me as a kid because he goes around the city and does very dangerous things for a kid. And me as a kid watching that was a very scary situation. Not scary, but it was, it made me feel very uncomfortable. That's the me countryside person that comes out right now. Because, I forgot to mention that this movie is located in New York City. I think even in Manhattan. So the only reason why I thought about rewatching this movie this year is because it's located where I'm living right now. But I remember not liking the movie at all. Another movie that I want to watch this year, because another YouTuber that I watched someday mentioned it, is Harry Potter, which I read the first 4 books of Harry Potter when I was 11, 12, and I absolutely loved them. I'm not very much into fantasy. I'm not at all into the fantasy genre, but those books were simply gifted to me. It was gifted the first, and then someone gifted me the second, and then I asked for, continuing the series. I don't remember if I've ever watched a movie. I certainly know, the picture, the photography of the movie because it's everywhere, so I know what's the face of the actors and stuff like that. And I think the movies are very good. They are very good adaptation of the book, so I want to rewatch it. If it's a Christmas movie, I don't know, but I remember that in the books, the Christmas part of the year is very much accentuated, let's say. Just Kate loves Harry Potter. See, then I'm gonna watch it. The Red Cake, you should absolutely watch her. Yes, I watched her. I watched it indeed in the movie theater, I think, and I really liked it. It's a good movie. G-Man suggests A Wonderful Life. Never watched. It has a really good life lesson to it. Good. I will try to remember it. Andrea Avila says, Home Alone in Argentina is My Pobre Angelito. My Pobre Angelito, my poor angel. So weird. I mean, after all, Argentinians are half Italians, right? So you got also our stupid behaviors, I guess. Gianluca Bruno says, Una poltrona per due. In English, Trading Places, I guess. I never watched it. Ken asks, do you consider Die Hard as a Christmas movie? Die Hard, what is it? I don't know. I thought it was a computer game of killing people, you know, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Chris Pocorni, maybe you'd be a unique live stream to hear your reaction as you watch Home Alone. And you tell everyone else to watch along on their own TV. I could do that or not. I don't know, because then, oh, you know what? I should watch Home Alone in my computer with the headphones and then have a microphone. Sorry, I'm thinking about the technical aspect of the live stream. What would it be? As always, because it's always, I'm terrorized by technology. Yeah, I could think about that, Chris. Thanks for the suggestion. Oh, Carlo Spinoza again suggests c'è anche la carrellata di Scuola di Polizia. Right, another American series of movie. Scuola di Polizia is police school. In English, I don't really know the original title. Police Academy, maybe? It's a very funny series of movie. That one I like very much. I never really watched the entire series, but I watched certain movies of the series, and yeah, that's a really good. But is it a Christmas movie? I don't know. Chris again says the movie called The Christmas Story took place in Cleveland. It's the old movie from the famous leg lamp. What is a leg lamp? David, random question. Do you swim? I can swim, but I don't feel comfortable in water. I don't really like swimming that much. I'm scrolling, as you can see from my reflection. Or even in French, you translate the title of the movies, the American movies, these Latin countries. Gianluca Bruno says, sometime during Christmas you can see films like Gremlins, Grinch, A Christmas Carol. Gianluca Bruno, are you Italian? Your name and surname sound Italian, but I don't know what were you referring to. Oh, Sal R also suggested Police Academy. That's the name of Scuola di Polizia. Don Vito Cascioferro too. Okay, are you planning to go skiing this winter? No. The first question would be, do you ski? I ski a little bit, despite me spending a lot of holidays in the Alps, where obviously there are amazing ski slopes and ski systems. I don't know how they're called. I'm not a big skier. I'm actually a very horrible skier. I usually go skiing maybe once a year since I started when I was 13, I think. So I didn't even start when I was a kid. So yeah, I actually like it very much. I love the atmosphere of skiing, especially. I'm not very crazy about skiing itself. For me, cross-country skiing is too physically demanding. I'm not trained enough to go cross-country skiing. The other kind of skiing, the one that you go down the slopes, that's the one that I usually do when I go skiing, at least in my adult life. But yeah, I'm not very attracted by, the fun of it. I'm more attracted by the atmosphere, the fact that you are in the middle of the snow, and at least on the Alps you have these incredible panoramas. There are such landscapes when you go up before you start going down, or while you go down. And the snow, I love the snow. I love seeing everything white. And the best part of it is when you finally stop skiing in this ice cold air and you get into a bar and you get your either cold beer and you get a little bit drunk, because with one beer you're already done, or a hot chocolate. Yeah, I love that. But skiing for me is very expensive. People never talk about how expensive it is to go skiing. Oh, because I have to rent all the equipment, obviously. I don't have my own equipment. Actually, now that I'm 30, I stopped, growing my feet, so I could probably buy some boots. At least I don't have to rent them, but I still have to rent the skis. I don't want to buy a pair of skis that after 3 years, the technology is so advanced that they are obsolete. So yeah, for me, going to ski is extremely expensive, and it's something that is really luxury. Very often in the past years, my parents have gifted me a day on the skis, because we used to go together. So it's not really my priority. I prefer to do other activities that don't require so much financial investment. Mel says it's great in the Alps because you can go above the clouds to the sun. That's a nice image. So let me answer to other groups of questions that you keep asking me. And especially about the future. So let's categorize this group of questions as future questions about the future. So many ask me, what about 2021? Do you have any plans for traveling? COVID permitting, obviously. And I also got some questions like, when will this pandemic be over? And I can answer to all these questions with one answer. Nobody knows when COVID is gonna end. Nobody knows what is gonna happen. It's clear at this point that it's not gonna be a matter of just a couple of months. We have high hopes for the vaccine, but we've always had since March. But at the same time, it's clear that the vaccine is not gonna immediately solve all our problems. First of all, it needs to be, I don't know about the test, I'm not gonna talk about it, but first of all, it's gonna be given to the older people who are more at risk. And then also the third world countries need the vaccine probably more than the first world countries. And there would be a lot to talk about that also, but I'm not gonna go into that. Like, it's not like from one week to the other, the vaccine, like the whole population of the world is going to be vaccinated and it's going to solve all our problems and we're going to go back to the life that we had before the pandemic. That's never going to happen. And we also don't know how actually, if it's true that the vaccine is really effective, or like, we don't know. Simply, we are, for the first time in history, watching the science working in real time. Usually we only see the results of scientific research that lasted for years. Right now we are seeing the science working at the same time that we get the results of the researches, which are not definitive results. That's the problem, because science is not, like, it's subject to interpretation somehow. And so we should never expect science to give us all the answers, even about, the natural world, the biological world. Who knows a little bit how the modern science works knows what I'm talking about. And to the others, I can just invite you to be aware of the fact that science does not have all the answers right away. The discoveries that have been made in the scientific field have been the result of years and years and years of research, and they are the sum of other discoveries that have been made before that one. So nowadays with COVID, we are seeing the research of the science at the same time that the science have been researched. Oh my God, sorry. We're seeing the results of the research of the science at the same time that the science is actually researching, which is something that has never happened before in the history of science. I don't know how many people realize this. So don't expect this situation to be solved anytime soon. Maybe it will be solved in a few months. Maybe it will not be solved even in a few years. We don't know. So my suggestion is to stop asking, not me, but asking yourself, when will this pandemic be over? My best advice would be really to tell yourself, this is not going to be over anytime soon. So let's just make peace with the situation that we have right now and focus more on the situation that you have right now and what you can do right now, rather than what you cannot do right now and when are you going to be able to do it again in the future. So that's mainly the question for those people who ask me, when will this pandemic be over? You can ask yourself this question as much as you like, but my very warm advice would be this: to stop asking yourself this question and just make peace with the fact that this is the situation now. You cannot do anything about it. And this is not only true in this situation with COVID, but it's true in any situation of your life where you have no control over what's happening. Some people say, if a problem doesn't have a solution, it's not a problem. Which means if you cannot find, if a problem is just there, it has no solution, you cannot do anything about it, you shouldn't consider it a problem. You should just consider it as, that's how things are. Let's focus on something else. Let's move on. So again, my suggestion would be to rather focus on the things you can do right now with the pandemic. And the first positive thing that I think this pandemic is allowing to do and is forcing us to do somehow is to work on ourselves, on our mind, on our psyche, on our soul, why not, on our body as well. And those are really the most important things that a human being can do. Work on yourself. You know, the big Socrates used to tell us this 2000 years ago. He used to say, know yourself. That was his motto, which means focus on getting to know yourself, how your body works, how your mind works. Be focused on your thoughts. Discover how your thoughts go. I don't know. It's hard to explain this. So I would say in our life pre-pandemic, we were more distracted, right? Because when we were not at home, maybe watching television or watching all these movies and TV series, even when we were outdoors, very often we were traveling, for example, or we were watching shows or concerts, or we were in the bars getting drunk and partying with friends, which are all amazing things, but they are also things that distract us from ourselves, right? Which is not a bad thing. It's amazing. We need entertainment. But when our life only revolves about entertainment 24 hours a day, that can be very harmful, because we also know to focus on ourselves and reflect about us, our problems, or what things are going well in our lives, what things are not going well, how we can feel better with our life choices and stuff like that. That's it. So, obviously, my answer to what are your travel plans for 2021, COVID permitting, I don't assume that COVID is going to permit me to travel. I don't think so, to be honest. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic about it. But I prefer to tell myself 2021 is not going to allow me to go anywhere. And that's no problem, you know, I'm gonna enjoy my life here in New York City with my husband and my cat, and I'm gonna cook my food in my kitchen, which is such a luxury for me as a full-time traveler to have, and I'm gonna grow my plants. You know, I'm just gonna focus on other things. I'm not gonna spend my days wondering, oh, when will I be able to go back to my full-time travel lifestyle? No, I just enjoy what I have right now in this moment. And I think it's a very healthy way to approach this situation in particular and any situation in your life. No plans for 2021. If, you know, in June, we're gonna be in a situation where COVID is gonna be under control, we are all vaccinated and we can start travel again with no problems, I'm gonna think about where to go. Like, why should I think about it now? There's no reason. I have a few ideas of countries that I would like to visit, but so I had in March 2018 when I decided to start traveling full time. I had my bucket list of countries that I wanted to visit, and the United States wasn't even the 100th country that I wanted to visit. I never thought I would have ever visited the United States. I had no interest whatsoever in visiting this country. And yet, New York City was the very first destination that I chose, and I ended up spending most of my traveling time in this country. So you never know. I make no plans now for 6 months from now. It makes no sense to me. Maybe other people instead are different and they need this long-term planning. I'm not like that. I prefer to live in this moment because I think it's healthier for me to not create too many expectations and to rather enjoy the present moment and what beautiful things I have to enjoy right now. I got a super chat, Paolo Dairos. Thank you very much. While I was talking, I saw it. And I got another super chat from Time for a Kiss. Thank you very much, $5. One word phrase to describe USA, UK, Ireland, Spain, France, Italy, Germany. Do Spanish and Italian people physically look similar to each other? Oh my god! Okay, I'm gonna start from the last question. Do Spanish and Italian people physically look similar to each other? Well, we are all Mediterranean, so we tend to have darker hair and a little bit of darker complexion than Northern Europe, but still white. So in comparison to the north of Africa, for example, they are more tan than us. Then it depends, because also, you know, Sicilians are much darker than Friulans, for example. But if I had to compare Spanish and Italian people, if I think about male population, I would say Spanish people tend to have more prominent face traits. Like they usually have these big mouths with big lips, big eyes, whereas Italians are, like, the traits are not so prominent. It's hard to explain. Yeah, and about the women, if I think about the typical Italian woman, I think about very round eyes, very round, big eyes. I don't really know. Yeah, I guess this at least answered to a little bit of the question. One word or phrase to describe USA. Right now it comes to my mind patriotic, but of course it's only a partial description of the USA. Original. Actually, original is it's a good. Originality is a very strong characteristic of this country, in my opinion. UK, polite. Actually, Canada is more polite than United. UK is not. UK is polite, but it doesn't mean that they are fake polite. I think people, at least Americans, they consider Canadians or other Northern Americans that are polite as fake, like passive aggressive. How do they say passive aggressive or fake nice? That's how they say it. British are polite because it's a cultural thing. Like, it means that you have manners, but it doesn't mean that you are fake nice. Being polite in Britain, based on what I know about Great Britain, doesn't mean being fake nice. It's more about having good manners. But British people are actually very irreverent. Is there such a word in English, irreverent? Do you understand me? I hope so. Yeah, they can be actually very, very rude, but in a polite way. That's why, so I come from this idea, you know, of politeness. So when I came here to the United States, I had big struggles understanding what New Yorkers mean when they say that people who are polite are fake nice. Again, the biggest example is Canadians. To me, polite doesn't mean to be fake nice. It means to be good manners, to have good manners, which is something, in my opinion, very positive. It's something that I really appreciate, good manners. I also appreciate very much honesty. So, you know, the two things don't eliminate each other for me. Ireland. Wool sweaters. Cornamuse, like the pipes, the instrument that they have. Huge, high, amazing cliffs. I don't know, I've never been to Ireland, and I haven't studied the culture of Ireland like I did with the UK, because the UK, we study in, in school, we study English and British culture. Spain. This is hard. A word to describe Spain. I don't know this one. France. I know this one. I know it in Italian though, it's hard in English. It's kind of it's something like snobby. And this is not a prejudice that I have with French people. Because the first time I went to France, I was 19 or 21, I don't remember. And I had zero prejudice. Zero. I was so enthusiastic about being in France for the first time. I was in Lyon, by the way, visiting my sister who was studying there for 1 year. And very soon I discovered that French people can be so rude, which doesn't mean that French people are rude, but they can be so rude and so snobby. It's disgusting. Sorry, but no. Italy, beautiful. Germany, okay, last one. Squeeze your brain, Mary Jane. Functioning. Germany is functioning, not at only a practical level, but also at the cultural level, any level. Germany is just functioning. Okay. Okay. Four-wheeler, you're gone. Irreverent is a word. Okay, I'm glad. Flamenco for Spain. I also thought, among the thoughts that I thought about Spain, I also thought about flamenco. I don't know. ME says, that's surprising. You studied British culture in school. Why is that surprising? ME. I think in all European countries, even in the ex-Soviet Union nowadays, kids study English, from very early age. I personally study English. I started in the second year of elementary school, which means I was 7 years old. So T1000 says, British here, we can be overly polite sometimes, which isn't good either, like too reserved and passive. Yeah, I feel like in Great Britain, when people are too polite, they don't come out as fake nice, but they rather come out as too shy or reserved, too aloof, So it's really, it's we're talking all about English-speaking countries, so they kind of come from the same cultural background, but Great Britain is very different than the United States and Canada. Like, it's just two very different attitudes. Because here, being friendly and very open and speaking loud and, being out there, being confident is like the standard. Like, all the people are like that. So then the difference is, are you more rude and honest, or are you more polite and fake nice? This is the situation in North America based on what I've experienced so far, and I interpreted it. So let me know if I got something wrong. In Great Britain is more about, are you too polite and therefore you come out as aloof and too reserved, or you are normally polite and then you can be also, rude or irreverent. Because British people, they have that sense of humor and they really mock other people. they can be often almost, almost rude while being polite again. Don Vito Cascioferro is asking me a question that somebody asked me on Instagram yesterday, I think, so I can make the two questions together. No, it was actually George Froll, which usually follows my live streams. I haven't seen him today. So George Froll yesterday asked me on my community page, tell us the differences, similarities in culture, food, and people, etc., in the north and southern parts of Italy. And now Don Vito Cascioferro asked me, why is southern Italy so poor? Naples was one of the richest cities in Europe, along with Paris and London, before Italian unification. Actually, this question was easier than this one. Look, we obviously study a lot of Italian history in school in Italy. And we also study the history of the South, the history of the Center, the history of the North, which are 3 different histories, by the way. But in my opinion, still not enough to face the problems that Italy is facing still nowadays with the differences between South and North. In fact, when I was in high school, I was 16, 17 at the time, when in history in school we were studying the Italian unification process, I felt the need to stay longer hours in school. And I remember I was trying to read more about the Italian unification before, the process, the very beginning of the process of unification, in order to understand why there are these big differences between North and South still nowadays, and where do they come from. And I remember there is this chain of books in several volumes of the history of Italy by Giorgio Candeloro, if an Italian knows about it. And luckily in the library of my school, which was very small, we had the whole collection of these Candeloro books, very old ones, like from the 70s probably. And I remember that I started reading the few volumes that were regarding that moment of the history in the 19th century in Italy. And honestly, as always happens, the more you read and the more you inform yourself about the topic, the more you realize that you don't know enough, and that you know to read more and to research more. So that's what happened with me, honestly, with the differences between South and North of Italy. I probably knew at that point more than my classmates about the matter, but I still felt like I knew less than everybody else, because I felt very ignorant. And to be honest, after that, I had a moment of my life where I lived in Rome and I was in contact with a lot of people from the South. So that was my second kind of dealing with this problem of the difference between North and South. But then I moved away from Rome when I was 27, and so 3 years ago, and I never really lived in Italy anymore, or not outside of Friuli. So I never really questioned that problem anymore, and I have no answer, or I could attempt an answer, but it's such a sensitive topic. And I think the Southerners are not acknowledged enough by, the Italian general culture, because I think they have things to say. They have frustrations that need to come out, and they should be listened more. That's what I mean. So I'm a Northerner, And unfortunately, I only have the perspective of Northerners. I never listened enough to the Southerners' perspective to be able to answer to this question properly. But I can tell you some difference and similarities in culture, food, and people between southern and northern Italy. That I can do. Let's see in the meantime, let me scroll 1 second, see what you are answering me. Oh my God. Gatronix, who are you? The North is Berlusconi? What are you talking about? That's just a sentence that doesn't make any sense. And it's also an insult to all the northern people who really disagree with Berlusconi's way of doing politics, which one is this in front of you. So please don't say things like this. They are very irrespectful. Don Vito Cascioferro, it sounds like the North robbed the wealth from the South. Again, that is a huge simplification, you know. It's not a simple question. For sure, we didn't rob in a direct way. We have no record of, you know, any state person actually robbing money from, you know, the southern funds or whatever. But southern people could say that, you know, maybe politicians in the history were mostly from the north, and they advantaged the north with the laws that they were making rather than the south. Also, you know, the differences that there are between North and South in Italy nowadays, they are very much rooted in simply the histories of the country. Italy has not been a unified country for most of its history. We are a very recent nation indeed. We were unified only in 1861. Before that, we were fragmented in a series of little states, cities, regions. You know, the Republic of Venice in the northeast was huge, was very powerful. And then there was the Republic of Genoa in the northwest. And then in Tuscany, there were ducati, like little states, let's say, and then the whole center was property of the Vatican, of the Church, for centuries. And then the whole south, you know, the south has a very old history that goes back to the ancient Greeks that colonized Sicily first, and then other regions of the south. And then you know, the whole south was dominated by foreign countries. They had the Bourboni, you know, they had Spanish domination, French domination. Also, the type of economy was extremely different in the south. The south is very agricultural. And, you know, when agriculture with the industrialization became more advanced, the south, for some reason, which again we should go and research for what reason, the south remained back with the technologies of with the agricultural technologies, and that caused the south to become poorer and poorer in comparison to other countries of Europe, and to the north as well, because the north was not as based on agriculture as the south. So when the industrialization came from Great Britain, since we talked about it, the North immediately started to build factories, and the South struggled to, probably also for geographical reason. The South is very much in the South, is very much isolated from the rest of Europe. The North is not, it's right there. The South just remained back with the technologies, and then, you know, there has been social problems and political problems. They had a very antiquated, you say antiquated, antiquated, well, you understand what I mean, a very old way of government for so long, and they have mismanagement of the land simply. So all these things, on one side, for sure, they were not smart enough to, or they, not smart enough, sorry, that was very badly formulated. They were not ready enough to stay at the same pace of the rest of Europe with the progress that we were making. But at the same time, they could say that, when we were unified, the North didn't help them at all to move forward with the technologies and with the reorganization of the politics and with fighting the crime that they have. That the South has an immense problem of organized crime that's still going nowadays, and that we unfortunately we exported to the United States in the big waves of immigration of the beginning of the last century. I'm answering to the first question now. Okay, I wanted to tell you about the different similarities in culture. So, for example, think about pasta and pizza, okay? The first two things that you think about Italian food. They both actually come from the South. So, with pasta, for example, pasta as we know it nowadays, the popular type of pasta is made of grano duro. In English, it's durum semolina, I think, called. And it's a type of grain that grows in the south. It needs the climate of the south of Italy, which is very different from the climate of the north. So that's where that type of pasta comes from. In the north, we also had pasta, even if it's not as old as it is in the south, I think, but we were using another type of grain, which is grano tenero, which is, the normal flour that you bake cakes with, And therefore, it was a different kind of pasta because we had to use egg to make the flour stick together. So in the north, it's more traditional to have egg pasta. In the south, it's more traditional to have that typical pasta that you also can buy at the supermarket, for example. And then nowadays, with the easy of transportation and everything, the pasta from the south came also to the north. And nowadays, since I was born, but I don't know since when, I would say maybe from the 60s, 70s, the type of pasta that they have in the south is so common in the north that it's part of our culture in the north too. You see me, for example, making cooking videos about pasta, and it's not egg pasta. It's the type of pasta made of semolina. And I consider that one of my main traditional foods in my family, even in the far north. This for the pasta. Then for the pizza, that is very interesting because pizza is really not a typical food in the north. And many foreigners are mistaken by that because they think they connect pizza to Italy. So when they come on vacation to Italy, they want at any cost to eat pizza because they think it's typical. But very often they come on vacation in the north of Italy, and in the north, pizza is not typical. We certainly have pizzerias because they spread in the last decades, but pizza is from Naples. And then from Naples, it spreaded a little bit around. For example, in Rome is also very traditional pizza. But I wouldn't say that in the north, pizza is a traditional food. Pizza is just imported. And honestly, I don't consider it as traditional food. Our pizza is also not so good. And when you find, very often pizzerias in the north are touristy. If they are close to touristy attraction, they are most of the times very bad pizzerias because they are made just for tourists who don't know how pizza is supposed to taste like. I'm sorry. So we have great pizzerias in the north. Very often they are run by Neapolitaners who moved to the north. Some other times they are northerner people who went to learn how to make pizza to the south, you know. But yeah, don't get too much confused with that pizza thing. Time for a kiss. Super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Top 3 events, festival you've been in the world. I'm not a big event person, to be honest. As you can see, yeah, I never travel for events. I used to pre-YouTube. So yeah, I can mention yeah, some events, but they're gonna be all in Italy. I'm sorry. First one that I would like to mention is one that is in my hometown, and it's the biggest. It's called Far East Film Festival, and it's the biggest movie festival dedicated to Far East cinema, Far East Asia, meaning, in Europe. So it's very beautiful because my hometown, close to my hometown, Udine, it's a very small city of 100,000 inhabitants. And it's very quiet, it's very boring, there's never something going on. But in April, end of April is this festival for many years now. The city fills up with people from all over Europe and all over the world as well, because you have all the movie directors from Korea and Taiwan and Japan, China, all that part of the world, Thailand, that come to Udine to present their movies. And you have also many viewers who come to attend to the festival from all over the place. So that's a very beautiful one. It's called Far East Film Festival. Another festival that I could mention, maybe I could mention the Robot Festival. It's not my favorite music festival in Italy, but it's one of those that still exist because my favorite festivals are usually the very small ones. They are very niche. And many of them that I used to go to years ago, now they are not going on anymore. But Robot Festival in Bologna is a festival dedicated to music and electronic arts. And it takes place in different locations in the city center, some of them very historical. It's very beautiful. I've been there for a few years. Great festival. I especially love this kind of more avant-garde festival, so absolutely recommend. And similar to that, but a little bit more sophisticated, is in Modena. It's called Node Festival. I don't know if they're still doing it though. Also dedicated to digital arts and digital music. Third one, I don't know. Well, yeah, I could. Well, that's easy actually. I'm gonna mention the Chestnut Festival of Valle di Sofumbergo. It's in my region, in Friuli. It's a very, very local festival in a super small town in the hills right before the Alps, which yeah, sorry, I was thinking about something and I got lost. But I made a vlog about it, so I'm not gonna talk about this festival. If you want, you can go take a look at how it was last year, because this year obviously I was here, but last year in October I went with my friend, and you can find it in my vlogs of last year. It's called Can You Believe This Place? Or something like that. I'm just started scrolling and I see that someone named A commented, "It's not polite ever to discuss politics," which I cannot ignore. I need to address to this comment. That is very subjective perspective that I absolutely do not agree on. Discussing politics might be not polite in some countries that I don't know, but for sure in every democratic country, not only it's not about politeness, but it's about the necessity of discussing about politics. I find it absolutely absurd that in certain democratic countries nowadays, it's considered unpolite to discuss about politics. Who understands, understands. Time for a kiss. I'm surprised she didn't say Oktoberfest as a festival she likes. You can tell she loves Italy the most. Time for a kiss. Oktoberfest is in Germany, and I've never been to Oktoberfest. So I don't know. And it's not that I've never been and I would like to go. I'm not really interested. So I don't think I would like it. Okay, Ocean Planet says, we need a moderator. Maybe I'm asking my moderators to tell me what's going on because I wasn't following the chat. If you were following, I know that some people are discussing politics here. We're discussing politics. If it's out of control, tell me, please. Good afternoon, Himanshu. Welcome. David, random question. Would you like to have a Siberian Husky? No, I wouldn't. I don't like very much to have pets. And I'm not a very big fan of dogs. Although I think I know how Siberian Huskies look like and they look beautiful. Someone on Instagram yesterday asked me, do you ever watch other New York YouTubers? This was Chris Pokorny, I think. I think Chris Pokorny asked me this question. Do you ever watch other New York YouTubers and get inspiration ideas from their content? Yes, sometimes, especially way before meeting him, I was a huge fan of John Barr. I was a huge fan of the channel Here Be Bar, and because I find his videos about parts of New York that are not necessarily very famous, very well made in the sense of the type of information that he gives. So I used to watch his videos, and I also went to certain places, both areas and restaurants, because of his videos. So thank you, Here Be Bar, great channel. Go check it out if you don't know it yet. It's content about New York City though, so if you're interested in New York City, it's definitely, you probably know him already if you're interested in New York City. And Urban is the second one that I was about to mention. Hello, that is online right now. Ariel is the name of the person who runs the channel Urbanist, and since you just joined, I'm gonna fill you in. Somebody just asked me if there are New York YouTube channels that I watch, that I'm a fan of, and if I take their advice or if I take them as inspiration. So I just named Here Be Bar because of my explorations in the city. I very often followed his suggestions and his videos. And the other channel that I wanted to mention is Urbanist, because it's a channel that I really like. It's a smaller channel than Here Be Bar, so it has less content in terms of quantity, but it's very, very valuable videos. And especially what I enjoy about Urbanist is the editing style. Not editing, the production style in general. Like Ariel is really passionate about making movies, so you can tell that he puts a lot of knowledge and skills into making these videos. So they're very pleasant to watch. Don Vito Cascioferro, do you speak Latin? I'm in the middle of learning classical Latin, going to learn ancient Greek next. Very good for you. I admire your effort, Don Vito Cascioferro, because, well, they are dead languages, so although they are obviously very useful to, to learn and to know, it's hard to learn them. Personally, in school I studied Latin for 5 long years. In Italy, it's compulsory in all the liceo schools, the type of school that I attended. And it started very intensively because we used to have 5 hours, depending on the years. For 5 years, you have 5 or 6 hours per week of Latin lessons. So it was a huge part of our curriculum, and I've never been good at Latin. It's always been my weak subject. I always had the worst grades in Latin. So no, I don't know Latin. Then in university, unfortunately, in high school, I didn't learn ancient Greek, because I chose a more scientific kind of curriculum. But then luckily when I was in university, because I chose to study philosophy, I had to attend at a certain point at ancient Greek course. So at least I got some basics. I learned it only for 6 months for a semester, but it was enough. And I must say, I love ancient Greek. I found it much more beautiful than Latin. Hola, Luis Rojas. What's your favorite Christmas song? Again, earlier in this live stream, we've talked about Christmas movies, and I told you that it's not part of my Christmas traditions. So in Italy, my Christmas traditions are all about really family and food. We don't do much of decorations. We don't do songs. We don't do movies. Yeah, so I don't have a Christmas song. Guillermo Colombi, ragu o pesto? Well, very easy to answer. Pesto for the summer, ragu for the winter. So now it's ragu time, and I'm actually thinking about making ragu very soon, like a big batch, and then freeze it. Sorry, I'm gonna read this question. Alma Libre Studios, based on your experience, what country has the best weather? Sorry, I have to address this question because I think it's how can you say it? Like I don't like when people say this country has the best weather, the best food is in this other country. Sorry, I'm gonna switch the microphone to the charging cord, so I'm not gonna do the same mistake that I did the other time. You're gonna hear a worse audio probably. I'm sorry about that. Can you still hear me? Everything all right? So, see, you already got answers. Best weather is here, best weather is there. Best weather in relation to what? Best weather for whom? You know, it's such a relative question that I hate when somebody says, this is the best thing or this is the best place. For some people, Lapland is going to be the best weather. For other people, California will be the best weather. You know, for me personally, wait. Oh, these American electrical plugs. So it's all so relative to the person, to the needs of a person, to what a person likes. I love seasons, for example. So for me, California has a terrible weather. I hate it. I lived in Rome, where the seasons are not so pronounced, and where in December you still have, you know, the yellow leaves are falling. It's the peak fall season in December. And I was feeling so much stress and anxiety when I was living in Rome, because the seasons were all wrong. Like winter lasted for 1 month in January. That was really making me suffering. So every time you say a country has the best weather, maybe you mean it has the best weather for you, but you know, it's all relative to the person. Whatever. Sorry, this was a way too long answer. So this is almost the end of this live stream, but I have yet to sorry, I'm forgetting English now. I have yet to mention a very important event that is today. It's so stupid. Today is the 13th of December, which is Santa Lucia. Oh my God. So I don't know, and I'm curious to know, please, since you come from very different countries, let me know if in your country Santa Lucia or Saint Lucia, maybe it's called in English, is a thing. Because I don't think, for example, in this country, in the United States, it is a thing. Because I know that Christmas presents are exchanged in the Christmas Day, I think, or the Christmas Eve. But Santa Lucia is a huge thing in the region where I come from, in Friuli, in the northeast of Italy. And today is the day, 13th of December. Today it's also, since we're talking about this day, it would have been the 100th birthday of my grandfather, Vittorio. So yeah, my mom sent us a little text on our WhatsApp group this morning, reminding us that 13th of December was my grandfather's birthday. So auguri nonno Vittorio, yes. But anyway, aside of this personal information, it's Santa Lucia today, which means, so Santa Lucia was a saint, and she was blind, and she was kind of this old lady that used to, you know, live in the woods, and she was always accompanied by a donkey. And on the 13th of December, during the night, it brings presents to kids. So I didn't receive presents in the Christmas Day when I was a kid. I received the present on the morning of the 13th of December, which was very often a school day. So it was really a day. Can you hear the Latin music? I'm in a Puerto Rican neighborhood, so sometimes they just blast this Latin music. Anyway, I was saying, when I was a kid, in the morning of the 13th of December, Santa Lucia, I would wake up literally like at 6 in the morning and go wake up my parents, because I wanted to go see if Santa Lucia had left any presents under the Christmas tree. So in the evening of the 12th, we usually left some clementines for Santa Lucia on a little table next to the Christmas tree, and then we would leave a bowl of water for her donkey to drink if he was thirsty. And then we would also get some hay from our grandparents who have the field and everything. We would bring it home and leave it next to the water, also for the donkey. If he was hungry, he could eat some hay. And then, of course, you had to go to sleep very early on the 12th, right? Because otherwise Santa Lucia doesn't come. And then you go to sleep and you are advised, this is very important, you cannot get up, even if you wake up in your bed, you cannot go in the living room. Absolutely not. Because if you see Santa Lucia, what was the thing? First of all, Santa Lucia is very ugly, so you don't want to see her because she's scary. And then also, I don't know if you also become blind if you see her or something like that. There was a story. You were not allowed to get up from your bed and go see if there were gifts unless your parents told you to, because otherwise you would risk to see Santa Lucia, and that was not a good thing. So yeah, for several years of my childhood, the 13th of December was a very happy day. You would wake up with complete pitch black darkness outside, and yet it was the best day of the year to wake up to because you are so excited. You could go and see if Santa Lucia would brought you presents or not, because if you had been a bad kid during the year, she would not bring you any presents. But yeah, mostly we had presents, obviously. Also, in the evening, you also leave a letter, like a handwritten letter with the request to Santa Lucia if she could bring you that particular present, of course. And I was the youngest of 3 kids, so the most beautiful memory of Santa Lucia is to wake up in the morning and my 2 siblings were with me also, and our parents too, so we were all 5 together, and for about 1 hour before going to school, it was very early in the morning, pitch black outside, we would open these presents that we were wishing for months. Yeah, and it was so beautiful, so I really wanted to share this with you because today is the 13th, and that's it. I remember one of the best presents, it was a hamster, because it was a present that was for all 3 of us siblings, it was not an individual present, so yeah. Let's see if you have Santa Lucia as well. Whoa, wait. In the meantime, Ariel says that's my family blasting music. It could be, yes. So Ocean Planet says most European countries have Saint Nicholas on the 6th of December. That's true, Saint Nicholas. And do you receive like Christmas presents on the 6th of December as well? T1000 says, so basically an alternative to Santa Claus. I don't really know what Santa Claus is exactly, but I mean, yeah, an alternative, but you are really simplifying. This is like a tradition that has been going on for who knows how much time in my region, and you're just saying it's an alternative to Santa Claus. No, it has a big history behind it. It's Santa Lucia. Himanshu says Iceland has 13 Santas. Some naughty, some very naughty. Really? Vitor Pinheiro, Santa Lucia Day is celebrated in Brazil, and in my state there is also a city called Santa Lucia. In your state, I guess you're in the United States then? Yeah, Nevermind says, so if the kids behave badly, they would get ashes and coal instead of their present. Johannes says, Johannes is German, so I guess in Germany is also a thing, Santa Lucia. If you see Santa Lucia, you become blind. I remember right. Ooh. Auke says also Santa Lucia sounds like Santa Claus. I don't know how it's pronounced. pay for the horse presents, but I would be curious to know what Santa Claus is. I know it's a Christmas person, but I don't remember who it is. It's not Saint Nicholas, right? Chingeti asks, do you have a family tree and how far does it go back? I have down one and it goes back 9 generations to the period where my ancestors were Buddhist. Do you mean that you have a plastic one that is reusable? If it goes back to 9 generations, because we do have a plastic one in my family, and it's at least as old as me. It's probably older than me. We have every year the same tree, and my siblings are very pissed at that. No, my brother is very pissed, and my mom too. They would like to change it because they say it's old, it's a little bit crooked now, but I like it. Why not? Nevermind says, it's interessante sentire quanto sono diverse le tradizioni friulane con il resto d'Italia, which means it's interesting to hear how different the Friulan traditions are with the rest of Italy. Yeah, actually, I started this live stream saying that I don't really know what traditions there are in the rest of Italy, because, you know, Christmas is always a moment where you really don't travel. You stay at home with your family. So I don't know. I know, for example, I was shocked by the fact that in other parts of Italy, even some people in Friuli eat fish at Christmas, which is absurd for me. I've never thought fish for me. It's a summer kind of. Saint Nicolaus is Father Christmas, Santa Claus. Oh, so Saint Nicholas is the same as Santa Claus, which is Father Christmas. So Father Christmas, we have something like that in Italy. It's a more modern Christmas personality, and it comes in the Christmas day, I think, or during the Christmas Eve, to bring presents to kids. So some families, for example, my cousins who are younger than me, I don't know if they had Santa Lucia, but I'm sure they had Babbo Natale. So they received their gifts in the Christmas day. Ocean Planet says that Santa Claus is from Coca-Cola. Is it? Tanya asks, can you tell us more about how you came to stay at the house in your New Hampshire vlogs? Sorry, this is totally not related to what we were talking about. But I'm about to finish this live stream, not because I wouldn't like to continue, but because I need to pee. This is the real truth. I need to go to the bathroom because you can, I can't. So I need to finish this live stream. Anyway, I actually just did I say it or not? I ended up finding that house in New Hampshire through Workaway. So I was looking either on Couchsurfing hosts or Workaway hosts, and I found that house on Workaway. Yes, Ariel, I should do a commercial break, but I should hire someone to do a commercial break while I go to the bathroom. Oh, this is such an interesting question. You know, as always, in my live streams, there is a moment when I reach the end of my live stream, which would be 90 minutes to 2 hours, which is usually where I end my live streams, where I keep getting the most interesting questions of the entire live stream, and I cannot close it, you know, because I want to address them. Why is this phenomenon? I cannot explain it. So Jack Durham asks, if you weren't exposed to religion till you were 18, wouldn't the world be different? This is such an original and interesting question. That's so interesting. Jack, really congratulations for this question. It's so interesting. So you mean if people weren't exposed to religion until they were grown-ups, you know, and could understand what religion actually is, wouldn't the world be different? I think it would be a huge change, you know, to not be exposed to religion until you are able to actually understand what it is. But also another question that I ask you, would religion at that point make any sense? Isn't religion in need of humans to, you know, cope with all the sufferings of their lives? And another question from Chingetti related to this one. What's your view on Islam? I have no view on Islam. I don't have much contact with the Islamic, you say Islamic culture, Islamic traditions. So I have no idea. I would like to know more about Islam, because such a big part of our world is Muslim, and also a big part of the world that is coming in contact with my culture in Italy, with all the waves of immigration that we've been having. So I feel like Italians in general should learn more about Muslim culture. Yeah. Idi Yakubu, hello, is Christmas and a religious festival? Where are you from, Idi? I think from a country that is not Christian, because Christmas, yes, it's a religion, festa? How do you say festa in English? It's a religious event, Christmas. So it's the day that is always fixed. It's on the 25th of December. And it's the day where Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus, which is, you know, the main personality in our religion. And nowadays, I would say that it's becoming more and more non-religious. It still maintains its religious, at least in Italy, where I come from. I don't know here. Here in the United States, I see that it's way more commercial. I don't know how many people actually realize that it's a religious holiday here, but in Italy it's still very much religious, although it's also part of our culture, as, you know, a tradition. So even if not as many people are religious nowadays as they were up to 50 years ago, we still celebrate Christmas very, very much. Every family in Italy, I don't know anyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas with his family in Italy. And some families celebrate it more, some families celebrate it less. My best friend, for example, which is from my hometown, we grew up literally 100 meters from each other. She doesn't celebrate much, so only her close family unites, you say that, for a lunch on the Christmas day. And the lunch lasts it's very short, it's like 3 hours lunch, and then in the afternoon they go to the movie theater. That's their Christmas tradition. So it's very simple. I remember my boyfriend, when I was a teenager, he was also from my hometown, and they were also not doing big things. I think they were doing the dinner of the Christmas Eve rather than the lunch of Christmas Day. So they were celebrating more on the Christmas Eve. And regarding my family, we are the exact opposite. We do a huge celebration for Christmas. We do basically 2 or 3 days of celebration. So yeah. Himanshu says, you sound, can you hear the sirens of New York City? You sound like you are very much into the traditions around Christmas, but maybe not so much about the faith religion part about it. Anyway, Easter is more important than Christmas spiritually for Christians. Yes, you are definitely right, Himanshu, because I'm not religious. So I used to be, when I was a kid, regarding the question that was asked before, I grew up with a very religious, upbringing. So I used to believe in God until I was 13. And I used to go to the mass every Sunday and in May every evening. Now it's not like that anymore. I don't believe in God anymore. And but still, it doesn't mean that Christmas is not a big celebration for me. It's still, Christmas is more like a celebration of family and traditions for me. William Cipolla, why do you live there? You mean in New York City? Right now, just because of the pandemic. And I have a husband here, which became my husband during the pandemic and because of the pandemic. Suriel, what's your mother tongue? And what language do you speak with your parents? I'm Italian, 100%. All my family is Italian. Italian is my mother language, and English is really something very foreigner for me. So I think last question for today is about something that you're asking me right now, but also some questions that I got from yesterday. The Christmas atmosphere in New York City, how is it, and how Christmas is in the United States. So obviously this is gonna be my very first Christmas in the United States, in New York City, and as I said, outside of Friuli and away from my family. So I don't know how it is usually. I've been in December, beginning of December, in the past years in New York City, so I could see the decorations and the trees and everything. I haven't been to Midtown this year yet. I will go, hopefully. Maybe I will even do a video. I don't know if you're interested. Midtown is the place where there are all the very, very famous touristy Christmas attractions, like the Rockefeller tree, which I've never seen yet, and all the, the famous decorations that probably you've seen from other YouTubers right now. I'm sure they're making live streams and vlogs about them. I'm not so interested in those things because, again, they are not part of my tradition of Christmas. In this village here, I mean, I've been staying East Village, West Village, Chinatown, Brooklyn, Williamsburg, Greenpoint in these past few weeks, and I haven't seen much decoration up, honestly. So it's kind of not disappointing because, again, I don't care so much about decorations, but it's strange because I feel like in Rome, for example, if I compare it to Rome, there were more Christmas decorations in Rome, I think, which is odd because, again, in Italy we're not very much about decorations. But I feel like the difference is that in Rome, and like in all Italian cities, the decorations are public. Like the city pays for the decoration and mounts them and take care of them. So there are decorations that go along the main streets, especially those streets that are more pedestrian, there are less for car traffic. They are full with decorations. Every street lamp has some kind of Christmas lights and stuff. And then you have also private shops or houses who put out their Christmas tree or Christmas decorations. But here in New York City, I don't see decorations that belong to the city. I don't think the city puts out any decoration on the street. So it's all about the single shop owners that decide to put out some decorations in their display so that, you know, it almost belongs to the street as well. For example, here in Tompkins Square Park, the main park of this village, we have a tree that gets decorated with lights, with Christmas lights every year. And it was a bit sad because this year they didn't make the celebration of the, you know, the lighting of the tree, which I attended last year. Yeah, but even that tree, for example, it's not paid, the decorations are not paid or taken care of by the city. I think it's private citizens who care so much about the park, and they are so much involved in the community of this village that decide every year to take care of that. So they're basically volunteers. So I think that's a little bit of a difference. I'm not seeing your comments anymore, sorry. Okay, I'm getting questions about what I'm going to do for Christmas, for New Year's, and all those things. I'm thinking maybe of doing another live stream before Christmas, so we can talk about that, because this live stream is already way too long. And I really need to go to the bathroom. Okay, that's it, sorry. But I'm happy that I had this beauty for this live stream. I'm way more into plants than I am into pets. So I got the question earlier in the live stream, would you like to have a pet? No, I love plants. I would like to hug them all. I like plants more than pets, I don't know why. Look at there. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that color. Yeah, look at that red. Okay, you see it. Even in the video you are able to see it. It's gorgeous. I would spend, you know, half an hour just looking at these leaves. It's such a color. So Christmassy also. Even if it's a tropical plant in the end, so it's more like a summerish. Okay, that's it. I'm getting tedious now. Okay. People, 100 people. I still have 104 people watching. Oh my god. Okay, I hope you had a good time chatting with me. And Chris Pocorni, I read your question earlier. I hope you were watching. Okay, you have a beautiful Sunday, everyone, or for who is from the east of the world, you have a beautiful week. Tomorrow is Monday for you, or even already Monday. So happy Sunday, happy week to everyone. I hope you're all happy. I hope you are able to enjoy this moment of your lives. And I will see you in my next live stream. Let me know when you want the next live stream to be, okay?